viewers. I hope you're good today. I hope everyone is safe. Today, what we're going to talk about is fluency. Now, what is fluency? Fluency in a language is just, to put into simple words, just when someone is able to string words together and speak confidently in a way that they're using the language in an appropriate way. That is the best way to describe it. The first thing that I would like to say about fluency is the only way that someone can get better at fluency is practice. It is as simple as that. And when I mean practice, I don't mean writing practice or practicing your grammar or your vocabulary. It's mainly just speaking. For you to be fluent in English or any language, you need to speak. So that's one thing that we have to keep in mind before we start any of the techniques or any of the tricks or anything like that. Now, let's get into some tricks, and I would like you, Ananya, to be my partner in this. The
All
first
right, I'm excited.
trick, yes, the first trick is the imitation trick. The imitation trick is somewhat interesting, and it's actually based on new research. What it is that the learner is expected to go on the various media that we have, and they are expected to watch a video, right? I suggest a video that is short, one that is 1 to 2 minutes long, and this video should be something that is somewhat of a short story or a speech, something simple, nothing too complicated that's explaining machinery or something like that. Something like someone who's explaining a story that happened to them. For beginner learners, I also suggest start with small stories that, like small English stories and little anecdotes. That would help. For someone who's a little more advanced, maybe a speech for 1 or 2 minutes. Now, how the imitation technique works is that learners are expected to watch a video, and they are expected to, after every sentence or after every paragraph, they are to repeat themselves or repeat the video. So, for example, if I was to show you a video right now and there was a video playing, how would you approach this as a learner? So let's say there was a video playing. What would you do? So the imitation technique says that you are supposed to finish every thought. So as a new learner, you would find yourself being a little bit apprehensive, a little bit nervous about saying it spot on, right? There would be some mistakes. But that is the key to the imitation technique. You do it at your own pace, and you do it at your own versions. You do not have to mimic exactly what the video tells you to mimic, if that makes any sense.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
it's basically watching a video, could be any video, but something sweet, simple, short,
Yes.
and the imitation is something that we are going to do on our own pace, right?
At your own
Because
pace, at your own
and
version.
we are
Yes.
expected to keep getting better after every imitation, right?
Yes, exactly. And obviously, practice makes perfect. So at the end of this video, the goal is to kind of say the story or the speech that you're hearing as it is at the end of your practice. So I would start by doing each sentence and then move on to each paragraph and then move on to half the video and then the full video. That would be
Okay,
the imitation technique. It has worked
all right.
and it has increased fluency by a lot, actually.
Okay, all right. And is it only supposed to be in one language, or say I watch a video which is a combination of two language,
Right.
would that work?
Yeah. What I believe is whenever I give advice on English, actually, a short little personal story. My second language that I've learned in school, I just graduated high school, was Hindi, right? And after 12 years of Hindi, I'm still not the best at the language. I can't speak Shuddh Hindi, in another word, as we can say. But something that I've struggled with is this language, and all I would say is all languages are the same. The way you learn a language is pretty much the same. So if you want to do 2 languages in one, 3 languages in one, if you find videos like that, the more the better, actually. The more, multilingual you become.
All right, okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know.
Yeah.
All right,
Hmm.
let's
Any
move on to
questions?
the next. I
Okay.
think I was just looking for
Yeah.
questions if the audience had any, but none right now. So we
None
can
right
move
now.
on to the
If
next
there are any
technique.
questions, we will definitely stop and then answer and go on. Right? So the next technique, okay, Ananya, have you ever learned a new language?
I tried French once.
All right. So when you were trying, what would you say was one of the techniques that you tried to use that helped you be better at speaking?
I think watching a few videos and I even try to listen to French music.
Yes, yes,
So
that is
that
a
was,
common one. Yes.
yeah,
Um, that is definitely a technique, would be to listen to video, watch videos, watch movies, listen to music, and most importantly, when we're doing these things, you have to say it out. Is what some learners don't understand, is that they do listen to the music, they do understand, they try to understand the words, but if they don't say it out loud and try to, you know, apply the lyrics and apply the subtitles that they're watching, there's not really a point in the things that they're listening to. Like I said previously, fluency is all about speaking. A lot of the learners that I have, that I do regular classes with, um, everyone goes to an English medium college, right? Their textbooks are English medium, they can read English, but when it comes to speaking, there's kind of a disconnect, and that could be because the application of conversation, everyday conversation, is not happening.
right.
Yeah. So, another technique that we can go into would be something that would help reading and speaking together. This is actually something I did in high school when I was struggling with Hindi. It's something that our teacher made us do, and it really helped me the past 2 years. Now, what I would say is learners should open a newspaper or open a news article or something that is informative about topics that they like. Some people might like technology, some people might like uh, politics. Oh, is there a comment here or something?
I think there's some echo issues that are coming. I don't know from which end.
I'm not sure either. It says
That is not
echo.
clear.
Hmm.
Okay.
How do we fix this? Are you wearing earphones?
Yeah,
Should I say take them off? I don't know.
but
Should we
I
take
think
them
the echo problem is coming from your end.
from me? Okay.
I don't know. We
I don't
have
know
to
how to
ask
solve this.
the
I
viewers.
was. Hmm.
Guys,
Okay.
this is something else. I thought it's the answer to the echo question.
Yeah.
Uh, if you could just tell us where the echo is coming from,
Is
we'll
it
just
me or is it Ananya's audio issue? Because
from your end. Which end is
use
use
earphones.
earphone?
I was using earphones and I heard the audio, so I took it off. So I'm not
Okay.
sure. Like I heard the echo, so I took it off.
What should we do? Oh no, what should we do?
Coach
Do
side.
you
Okay. How do you think I should solve this problem?
have your earphone
I do.
anywhere near?
I do.
Alright, so
Okay, let me just try this. Is
okay,
there an echo?
I think they're going to answer that now.
It's
Guys,
fine now?
is the echo problem gone? Oh, it's fine now.
Thank God.
Perfect. Right.
Didn't want to do
Technical
that.
issue, guys. So
Over.
sorry for
Technical
that.
issue done. Okay. 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 So the next technique that I was talking about was opening a newspaper or a article and just reading some news that of a topic that you like, right? So it could be anything that you're passionate about. Read some news. I would say 2 to 3 articles a day. And what is most important is to go and explain the article to someone. That could be tricky because news is so intricate and detailed, but that is the only way that there's going to be thorough practice.
So
I
is
believe,
it
yes, yes.
oh, I actually wanted to know, is this just restricted to reading a newspaper article, or could it be like any article on the web or
Right.
something that interests me?
Right. So the point of the news article is to read and also be aware of current events. But obviously, yeah, that is the informative part of it. But obviously, if someone is not interested in news, because I know there are people like that. Honestly, I'm also like that sometimes. I don't like to read news. You can read a magazine, you can read a storybook, like a short storybook. But the point is to explain it in your own words using your own vocabulary. Another thing,
Okay.
which is additional to this technique, would be if you find any words that you don't know the meanings to, and to someone who is new to a language, that is very common, write it down, find the word meaning, and try to use that in your everyday communication. Yeah.
Okay, so like a bonus point here is that you're also adding on to your vocabulary.
Yes, you're increasing your word bank, as we say. Yeah,
And I think that is definitely going to give you an edge over others because
for sure.
you're
Yeah.
going to learn new words.
Yes, you're going to use new words and you can act very, smart when you're talking to your friends. Yeah, of course.
Right, right, right.
Does anyone have any questions? Because we can
The
start with a new
only
technique.
question they had was,
The
is
echo.
phone like heck? Right. I
No, the
think you're
question.
being so clear that everybody is, understanding it pretty well.
That's great. That's all I wanted to hear. Okay. Next technique would be I would suggest this is something that is also been done a lot whenever someone needs to work on their language. This is one of the techniques that is recommended for sure. Um, so at Alpha Board, we also do like little speeches that we make our learners do. So what we do is we give them a topic and they do a mind map. I hope everyone knows what a mind map is. It's a If I had to describe it in words, it's a circle that we draw in the middle of our little notepad and we write the topic in the middle and we just, write different points that will remind us of what we want to speak. So I would say choose a topic that you can talk about, draw a mind map, prepare, and prepare a speech for 1 or 2 minutes. What is important about this technique is the audio journaling. So take your phone, take your iPad, whatever it is, and record yourself speak. Uh, when you record, and you can hear back your recording, you can understand where you're kind of flustered, the words that you're kind of, you're messing up a little bit, your grammar, etc. I believe that when we prepare these speeches and we listen to it and we play it back, we can hear ourselves speak. Like obviously when I'm speaking now, I can hear myself, but then we can constantly play it back and understand like what the problem is. Then you listen to the audio, process what your mistakes are, try again. And then by the end of 5 tries, you're going to be so much better than your first recording. It's ensured.
All right, that's great to know. And I think this also brings us to the point that, guys, you should follow Alpha Board right now. Check out
Yes.
our courses because even though learning yourself is pretty good a process,
Yeah.
learning with the help of a mentor, with a coach, is something that is going to benefit you a lot.
Yeah.
So if you still haven't, go follow Alpha Board right
Right
now.
now. Like we'll give you a second to leave this live and follow us.
Yeah, you can just,
Yeah.
tap on the follow right
Follow
now
and you can
essay
just,
and
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. Uh,
Okay. All
uh,
right.
next technique, because I have so many. um,
See, we are even getting comments like great tip, ma'am.
Great tip. That's so great to hear. And that's the best part of feedback. If anyone has any questions, any doubts, we're so open to answer them for you. So please, oh, okay. Could you explain, please, how to answer for introduce yourself question? Okay. Um, so should I answer that now? How to
So,
introduce yourself?
and I think I'm also going to benefit from this because every
Oh,
time anybody asks me introduce yourself, I'm completely blank.
yeah, I get that. Introducing yourself is not very complicated. One thing that I've noticed about new English speakers is they use the term myself. Like hi, myself, for example, my name is Korki, myself, Korki. And that is wrong. We should always, what I suggest is the most elegant way to introduce yourself is saying good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. The three goods. Um, in the night, you can't say good night because good night is something you say when you're done with the conversation. When you're in a situation where you're at a timeline which is the dark or you're in the night time, please say good evening. So you start with saying good evening, my name is, and you start with your first name and your last name. So, for example, it would be good evening, my name is Kauriki Mazumdar. You talk about your status. Are you a student? Are you employed? Get into details of that. So, for example, uh, good evening. My name is Kauriki Mazumdar. I'm currently working at Board Infinity, and I am a coach. And I've recently graduated high school. You have to talk about your education, your last form of education. It's also good to talk about your major, because when you're doing a formal introduction, when you're formally introducing yourself, your degree, your university, things like that are your assets. So you have to make sure the other person knows these assets, right? You could also talk about your interests. You can talk about your skills, which is very important when you're formally introducing yourself. Like, for example, you could say, I'm very punctual, I'm a quick learner, I'm well organized, etc. So I hope that answers your
Oh,
question.
I think it was a very detailed answer, and it answered a lot of things for me. So I'm pretty sure Avi is also quite
Great,
clear in this aspect now.
great. If we have any questions, that was great. I could answer them, and or else we could start with the new technique.
I think we should start
Anything
with the
else?
new technique,
New
and if
technique?
there are any questions, then we'll take it
We will
after
see
your
that.
point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other technique that's very important is, I think, very plain and simple. I would suggest just talking in English. Um, that would be, I know it's easier said than done when I say this, but especially for new English learners. But I would suggest in any situation that you can, even if the other person is not an English speaker, obviously we can't tell this information until we get into conversation with them. But any situation you can, if you're talking to a delivery boy, or if you're in a post office, or if you're in a theater, instead of Hindi, try to speak in English. The receiver of this communication will communicate with you that, oh, I don't know English. Then you can obviously don't stick to English. But most of the chances that you have, you're lucky that someone's going to speak back to English with you and you get really good practice. So I would definitely suggest speak in English. Even now, why I said that this is easier said than done is because when you're a new language learner, you're always in that fear that, oh, what if I'm saying something wrong? This could be incorrect. Like, I could be making a mistake. I could embarrass myself. But the only way that we're going to face our insecurities and learn from these fears is to actually do something about it. And I would suggest putting yourself out there in this scary world, embarrass yourself, but learn from your mistakes. Like, that is all that this is about. All Most of the learners that I meet, one of their biggest problems is, or all of their problems are, we don't have the confidence to speak. Like, because we know we're wrong. And it is what it is. We just have to learn, and get better and get better.
And I guess if you're lucky enough, the other person is going to correct you, and
Yeah,
at the end of the day, what you're taking is a new
it's a
lesson.
learning experience.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
think that's
yeah,
great.
and I would also like to say to people who are English speakers, who are watching, is if you do come across someone who's struggling with English and they're trying to speak, laughing at them is probably not doing anyone good. You know, um, it's just maybe correcting them in a sweet manner would be better than ridicule, for sure.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I
I
agree.
think Mr. Avi has a question. He says, family details are mandatory or not? Okay, so this really depends. Avi, I hope you're still watching. This really depends on who you're talking to. If you're speaking to someone in a professional environment,
you don't need to mention your family details. But if you're talking to your friend, it really it's your choice. Family details I wouldn't say are mandatory. If you're talking to your friend and the conversation does lead to something like that, then you could mention your family. It's up to you. It's not mandatory. Okay. Any more questions? We have a new viewer who
Right
says
now.
hello, but no questions.
He says hello.
He says hello. Do you have any questions? Hina.
Hi, Hina. If you have any questions, our coach is here with us right now. Just don't hesitate.
Don't
Ask away.
hesitate. Yes. Okay. We will wait for her questions. But another tip that I have, I think this is the last tip that I have, it would definitely be to the best, I feel like the best way to understand English words is also, like you said, listen to music, but in the sense that listen to music you actually like. A lot of when I was struggling with Hindi, there were a lot of Hindi songs that I wasn't very much, I just, it wasn't my taste, according to
Cup
my
of tea.
taste.
Right.
Yes, it wasn't my cup of tea. But then when you start liking a genre you actually like, and you start getting familiar with the songs, you're going to be finding yourself singing along and understanding these words and phrases that are coming. And songs are so lyrical. The English is so rich in some of these songs. So if you find some music that you like, stick to it, keep listening to it, and you like it. A story that I'd like to share is I had uh, a friend actually who was obsessed with watching Japanese anime shows. He was obsessed.
Me
And
too.
yeah, oh my God, same. I love anime. I love anime.
You get to learn Japanese from just
Yes,
watching that, right?
exactly. You get to learn. And then when you delve into this passion and this interest that you have, you start reading the manga, which is like notebooks and like little books that you get to read, and you're just familiar with the language. But he loved it so much that he started learning Japanese, and now he's well versed in Japanese. So it's things like this, guys. You need to pick up interest in English, and then you're gonna just find yourself wanting to know more. So that was my last tip. Yeah.
And I think even, these OTT platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime,
Yes,
so many
for
new
sure.
series
Platforms.
are coming, and most of them are English. So,
Yeah, and they're so
even
interesting that
yeah, so just to
it can have
watch
someone
that,
hooked. Yeah,
yeah, and I think just to actually get to know the story, many people are going to learn the language. Taaki,
learn the
you
language.
get to know
Yeah.
what is the hype about. Why is it that people like this so much?
So I'm so like I relate to this so much because I've done this with so much anime. Like it's embarrassing how much anime I've done this with. But yeah.
Yeah, all right.
All the viewers that are watching right now, please follow Alpha Board. All the coaches are very warm, very friendly, and we're all here to help you with your language. So
Even everybody who's watching from Board Infinity, who's joining us, who's still here with us,
yes,
go follow Alpha Board because, like this session, there are going to be so many other sessions, and you're going to benefit from them all.
yes. Okay. Any
Any
YouTube
YouTube
channels or
channel.
websites? Okay, there are many YouTube channels, of course, on English where you can learn from English. Do you suggest anything, Ananya, where you can learn YouTube
I think
videos?
if you go to YouTube and just type,
Yeah,
learning YouTube
learning ways
English or
to
something
improve.
like, yeah, you're going to come across a lot of
Lot of
videos.
videos.
So
Yes,
you can get hooked on any one
any
channel
of
which
them.
you resonate
Yes,
the most with.
yes.
And of course, there's also Alpha Board.
There's
We
Alpha
come
Board,
up with
like I
we come up with content every day, and coaches are, as um, our coach just said, amazing.
yes.
They're very friendly, and one-on-one coaching is something that
That's a
cannot be
different
replaced, right?
experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
With Alpha Board, we have teachers who are going to sit with you, teach you, and make sure that you get it right. So, yeah,
Right, because
definitely.
from YouTube videos, it's a one-sided learning. You're learning something, but if you're
Yeah,
doing it wrong, there's nobody to correct you,
correct you. Correct. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
We have
Um,
another question here: how to improve accent?
How to improve your accent? I would definitely say one way that a lot of people improve accent is again um, watching English serials. It really helps you improve your accent and pick up on different accents. But I would also like to say that accent gets better when your vocabulary gets better and your fluency also gets better. When you're better at English, your accent also tends to transform because your pronunciation of these words will get better. So your accent improves. But if you want a quick solution, I would definitely say watch TV shows. I wouldn't suggest American TV shows. You want that Indian English accent. You know, the Indian English accent would definitely be the best form for an Indian to have. So I would definitely say if you just watch Indian Netflix shows as well, they speak in English and they speak very sophisticatedly, for sure.
I just want to remind everybody we're doing a section on English right now, guys. So, for cloud technology, data science, and whatsoever, stay connected with us. We're going to come up with those lives too. But currently, it's about English. So, if you have a question related to that, ask away. And
Yes.
also, Abhi, ma'am has given us a lot of tips. So we're
Yes.
going to upload this IGTV video on Alpha board right after this slide. So you can, rewatch it, and I'm pretty sure you're going to learn a lot of things after that.
Yes. So the tips that I've given, we will upload this as an IGTV video. Please refer to them. And if you want to work further, please join Alpha Board and we will help you. Our tongue is like, okay,
Maybe it's in a way him saying that it's difficult, and even though we are trying, our inner voice is saying nahi ho paega.
it's all clear what
It's
to
all
speak.
clear what to speak, but
I
you're not unable to
understand.
actually
I
speak it, right?
completely understand. And half the learners that I have sessions with have the same problem. But all I would like to say is people transform in a matter of months. It's all about determination. Your your mindset should be in a way that you can do it. And I genuinely think everyone can do it. Yeah, I know it's easier said than done, but again, we're here to make this a possibility at Alpha Board.
Yes, okay, we have another question. Should we speak fast English or average English? Is the pace of the language a concern?
Um, I think that um, you will find a pace that is comfortable to you. I think too fast is not. I understand that when we say fast, we think impressive, but too fast is not great at all. It's all about your voice modulation and your body language. These are things again that we touch upon in Alpha Board. Voice modulation is so important to a point where if someone's voice modulation is off, you can't really understand what they're saying. You can't really understand the point that they're trying to make. So it's very important. Yeah. Finding your speed is very important. Yes.
All right, I think, and in time you are going to find that speed. You just
Yes. It
need to
comes.
take
It
that
comes.
first step,
Step. Yes.
right?
It comes very quick and naturally when you start, it's going to come to you so fast. So yeah, no need to worry.
I think if anybody else has a question, just ask away because we're almost towards the end of our session.
Yes.
So come on, guys.
Thanks for
Anything else that you
clarifying. No
want to ask?
problem. Any other questions?
I think that's about it. As I said,
Yeah,
everybody
I think
was
we're done.
so clear with your tips that they don't have any more questions. So
That's
I think
great.
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I guess then we can wrap this session up
Sure.
because if you guys have any other questions, you can join us on other lives as well
Yes.
because we're going to have sessions almost every other day, and that is something that you do not want to miss. And just in case you were not able to ask it today, you're going to get your answers in the next session. So once again, go follow Alpha Board, go
Alpha
follow
Board.
Board Infinity, and um, yeah, that's about it.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. Oh, should we
Accent.
answer this?
Sure, I think this would be the last question that
One
we're
last
answering, right?
question, because we
Yeah,
care about you all so much.
it's why accent matters when pronunciation is okay.
Okay, accent does not matter. To me, I think everyone should speak according to their own accents. If your pronunciation is fine, there's no need to come up to those standards. I understand that currently there are standards of accents. That is for sure in society. But if your pronunciation is on point, you don't need a fancy, snancy accent. You just need to be communicating in a sense where someone can understand what you're saying and your words, your vocabulary, your sentence formation is correct. I don't think we need a very fancy accent. No, that's my personal
That
opinion.
was, and I think that is quite good an opinion because if you are speaking in a correct pronunciation and everything, and people are understanding you, so
Yeah, there's no need for an
that
accent at all.
does the job, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I
Okay,
think that was
we
the
can end
last
the session
question.
now.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Coach, for giving us these amazing tips. And
Thank you.
I know I, for one, have taken in so much, and many of our viewers too. They have actually thanked you in the comment. We have not
Thank
missed
you.
them, and this was, I think, a very fruitful session. So thank you
I'm
again
glad.
for doing this.
Yes. Okay, bye guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.